So it feels like most of my recent commentary has been bad news or been critical of something. And so I felt like when I saw this, it was time to highlight some good news. Um, Planet of the Apes is returning in 2024. And this is actually quite awesome. The current series that's been running is one of the best sci-fi film series in a very long time. I mean, I know the last one was 2017, so we're looking at about 5 years ago. And this one, it looks like, is planned for 2024. So it'd be a decent amount of time between sequels there, but sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's good to let a film series sit for a little bit, especially when it's been good. I feel like one of the trends in the current market for the last at least 15 years, maybe more, is to just pump out sequel after sequel after sequel. Oh, this thing made a lot of money, people like it, pump out the next sequel that's gonna, like, you gotta hit it while the iron is hot. Sometimes that's not true though. In the past, many movies that got sequels, it was a long time, 5, 6, 10 years before a movie got a sequel. Hell, look at Top Gun Maverick. That was 36 years. I mean, obviously that's kind of an extreme example, but this whole thing where we have back-to-back every year, every 2 years, whatever, there's always got to be the next film coming out in a franchise, that's a more recent concept in Hollywood. So it's actually really nice to see that, what was it? War for the Planet of the Apes and the ones previous to that this was such a great series. Like, so far, it's been done. The people doing it have taken it seriously. Like, obviously the old films, the classic films from like the 60s and 70s were really good films too. And I actually like the Mark Wahlberg Planet of the Apes film, regardless of what people think of that. Not a terrible movie. It's fun to watch. But they were kind of like cheesy on a level. And I think they just kind of rolled with it and said, you know what, this is how we can make things at this time. And that's why they were successful, even though it was a little bit silly in some cases. But this current series of Apes has been taken very seriously. It's been given really good budgets. There was a really good vision by Matt Reeves. And I just think it's been executed very well. So it's actually really cool to see that they kind of sat on it for a little bit before, 5 years now. And now they're announcing the sequel. Sometimes that's necessary. You let people... You let something gestate for a little bit. Let people see it in theater and enjoy that, and then they either see it on streaming or they get it on Blu-ray and they enjoy it. And then people over the years who maybe they didn't go see it in theater, but they always heard it was pretty good, so they go check it out. And so now you've got a much broader audience of people who've probably seen War for the Planet of the Apes and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and all that that didn't see it in theater. They were box office successes, but most films have like a bigger afterlife. If you give them time to become a memory, sometimes you grow the audience a little bit, and you grow the perhaps the appetite people have for a new one. So I don't think it's a bad thing that there is a bit of time between these sequels. And here we have Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Of course, this article from The Verge saying, 20th Century Fox, or excuse me, not 20th Century Fox, it's owned by Disney, but 20th Century Studios unveiled the first real details on Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, which picks up the story years after 2017's War for the Planet of the Apes, for what's described as an all-new chapter. Production of the film is scheduled to start next month, with Wes Ball, best known for the Maze Runner trilogy, serving as a director. And that's not too bad. I actually like the Maze Runner trilogy. They're pretty cool movies, interesting concept. They were good action flicks, and they had an interesting world behind them. They did a good job with that. Pretty well acted as well. So I'm okay with that. Wes Ball being the director of this. We don't know much else about the movie, and it's hard to glean a lot from the initial concept art seen above. There is a pretty cool picture. I might include that in the thumbnail for the video. But the studio did reveal some of the cast, including Owen Teague from Black Mirror and the newer It films, Freya Allen from The Witcher, Peter McCann from The Orville. The screenplay comes courtesy of a team that includes Josh Friedman, which was War of the Worlds, which I love that movie, Rick Jaffa and Amanda Silver, which worked on Rise of the Planet of the Apes, so that's good, and then Patrick Ason, who was from Prey. So not too bad. Sounds like they got a decent crew of people working on the production for the movie. It'll be interesting to see, what the idea is there, because obviously this is going to be a very different world when you're talking years after War for the Planet of the Apes. That was already kind of an extreme setting. So I think I saw an article that said something about like there's Caesar's long gone and there's a new ruler for the apes, and so could be pretty interesting. Obviously, we have very few details. This isn't going to be a long video. Just wanted to say I'm excited for this, and if you haven't heard about it yet, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is coming in 2024, and it sounds like there's some good people behind it. So some good news out there for movie fans. There is not a lot of that these days in movies, but some of the good series are coming back and getting their sequels, and some good concepts making their way back to the theaters. So hopefully you're as excited about it as I am, and when new details come out, I might make a new video about them.